If you're on Team Cashback, this video is for you, because I'm going to show you a setup of cards that's going to give you 5% back on every single one of your purchases. And a lot of other guides that you're going to watch in 5% back category setups are going to have a lot of unnecessary cards, and you don't want to have to keep track of all these different cards because you can get them mixed up and lose track of what you actually have. So I'm going to make this setup have the least amount of cards possible, but still able to give you 5% back for everything that you buy. And the best thing about these cards is not a single one of them have an annual fee. And most of these cards that I'm covering today have 2% and 3% back categories, but all we're worrying about today is that 5% back. So we're going to want cards that cover 7 different categories. These categories are going to be restaurants, grocery stores, gas and EV charging, utilities, ground transportation, online shopping, and then travel. And something that's going to give you even more value than 5% back from credit cards is subscribing to this channel, because I'm dropping multiple videos every single week showing you all the best credit cards on the market and teaching you how to use them responsibly. So this one card's actually going to hit 2 birds with one stone, because it's going to cover 2 different categories. The categories that this card's going to knock out for us in this card setup is utilities and ground transportation. So this card's going to be US Bank's Cash Plus Visa Signature card. So the first thing that this is going to give us is a really nice $200 sign-up bonus, and you only have to spend $1,000 within 90 days. So a really easy sign-up bonus to hit, and we love some extra value in there. This is one of my favorite cards, and in my opinion, one of the most underrated cards on the market, because there's a lot of different 5% categories you can choose from. You can choose from fast food, home utilities, TV, internet and streaming, department stores, cell phones, electronic stores, sporting goods stores, gyms, fitness centers, ground transportation, select clothing stores, furniture stores, and movie theaters. So if one of these categories is more valuable, you can always tweak this system and choose a different one. But for my cashback setup, I'm going to use home utilities and then ground transportation. And the reason why is because these are 2 categories that not a lot of other cashback cards cover. We can easily just set our utilities bill on this card and have that pay automatically every single month. For the ground transportation category, that's going to cover things like taxis, buses, but most importantly, Uber and Lyft. So if you don't have your car with you, or you party a little bit too hard and you need to take an Uber home, you're going to get some cash back by paying with this card. So a super solid credit card here that's going to knock out 2 of our categories for us. And if you watch any of my videos, you know that I love US Bank's credit cards. So let's move on to our next credit card, which is also going to hit 2 birds with one stone. And that card is going to be none other than the Amazon Prime Visa. So this is a card that I literally just got last week, and it's a card that you're going to get a ton of value from. We all know and love Amazon Prime, and if you're like me, you do 95% of your online shopping on Amazon Prime. So this card's going to knock out our online retail category. It's also going to give you 5% back on Amazon Fresh, Whole Food Markets, and the most important one for us is Chase Travel, because the Chase Travel portal is one of the best travel portals, and they have pretty much any option that you want on there. Now this card doesn't technically have an annual fee, but you are going to have Amazon Prime, which is going to cost you $15 a month or $139 a year. But most likely if you're watching this, you already have Amazon Prime. A recent study showed that 82% of households have Amazon Prime. And Amazon has a really cool feature where if someone in your household has Amazon Prime, you can get the Prime card for free. So let's say your mom or your wife has Amazon Prime, you can get this card by just being in the same house as them. Also, one of my favorite things about this card that not a lot of people know is that it is a metal card. It has a plastic casing on the outside, but if you look right down, the center of it is made of metal. So it weighs a good amount, and this is one of my favorite cards. There's also quite a few benefits that come with this card. I'm not going to cover all of them, but some of my favorites are roadside dispatch and then purchase protection. Let's then move on to our 5th category, which is grocery stores. Now this card I'm about to tell you about is one of my favorite cards, and in my opinion, it is the single most underrated card. And if I could only have one single credit card, it'd definitely be this one. But today we just want the 5% back category, which is going to be for grocery stores. And this card's going to be AAA Daily Advantage. Now, I'm not sure why no one talks about these credit cards. I'm definitely going to be talking about them quite a bit more, because these are some super underrated credit cards. As far as I know, you do not need a AAA membership to get this card, just a decent credit score. And of course, it comes with 0 annual fee and 0 foreign transaction fee. This is definitely a credit card that you're going to see me add to my wallet soon, and something that I'm really excited about. So this next card that we're going to be talking about is the twin brother of the AAA credit card that we just talked about, and it's almost the same thing, but instead of that 5% back category for groceries, we're going to be getting 5% back for gas and EV charging. This is another super underrated card, and probably a card that I'm going to be getting in my future. And there's some other credit cards out there that give you 5% back for gas, but the reason that I chose the AAA Travel Advantage card is number 1, it gives you 5% back for EV charging too. So if you have an electric car, you're going to get rewarded for that too. And also it's a Visa card. And the reason that I think it's important that your gas credit card's a Visa is because a lot of people get their gas at Costco, and Costco has a partnership with Visa where they only accept Visa. So if you have a Discover card or a MasterCard or American Express, none of that's going to work at the Costco gas pump station. So if you do happen to get your gas at Costco, which I'd recommend because gas at Costco is like 10% cheaper than everywhere else, if you don't get your gas at Costco, you're still going to get 5% back. Both of these AAA cards are going to give you $100 each in statement credit when you spend $1,000 within 3 months. So another really easy sign-up bonus to hit. So these are both 2 of the most underrated cards in my opinion, but they're not quite as good as the next card that I'm going to talk about. So this next card I'm going to put in the retail shopping category, but this is really a card that can pretty much be used for anything. Next to the AAA cards, I think this is probably the most underrated card out there. It's way better than the Apple card, and this is definitely a card that you're going to see me add to my wallet next. And that is the Kroger Rewards World Elite MasterCard. Now, I know that's a mouthful, but lucky for you, you don't have to say that credit card name. You can just use the card to spend. You're going to want to use the mobile wallet, because whenever you use this card in your mobile wallet, so if you don't know, that's going to be Apple Pay, Google Pay, Samsung, whatever you use, you're going to get 5% back. Now, the reason that I put this in retail shopping is because every single retail place you go to, like Target and Walmart, is going to have Apple Pay. And like I said, even though I put this in the retail shopping category, you can really use it anywhere. Right now, over 90% of retailers have Apple Pay, and that number is just going to keep rising and rising and rising. So even if you go to some random place like a drugstore or Petco or PetSmart or any miscellaneous purchases, you can just use your mobile wallet and use Apple or Samsung Pay and then get that 5% back. Now, the only problem with this card is that 5% that you're getting back is limited to the first $3,000. Now, I don't think that's a huge deal because $3,000 is quite a bit of money, and 95% of people aren't spending more than $3,000 at retail stores. And that's another reason that I put this card in this category. But if you do happen to spend more than $3,000, I'm going to give you some extra cards in a minute that'll help you supplement your setup. Now, this next category is going to cover a really big spending category, and probably my personal biggest spending category, which is dining. Whether that's going out to restaurants like Chipotle or Panda Express, or going out to nice sit-down places, I need a card, and so do you, that's going to give you 5% back on those purchases. So that's where the City Custom Cash comes in. And I saved the City Custom Cash till the very end of this video, and I wanted to save this card until I really needed it. And I think that the City Custom Cash card is kind of like the queen in chess. The queen can move vertically, horizontally, really any way, and it can do it all. And that's the same way that the City Custom Cash works, because it's going to give you 5% on whatever category you choose. So some of the categories that you can choose from includes restaurants, gas stations, grocery stores, travel, transit, streaming services, drugstores, home improvement stores, fitness clubs, and live entertainment. So really, you can sub out this card and put it in any other category that you want. And if you're just starting to build a setup, this is one of the first cards I get because it's going to cover your biggest spending category. The reason that I put it in dining is because I couldn't really think of another card with no annual fee that gives you 5% back on dining. So that's why I save this card for this category. So definitely super versatile card, and another card that I'm probably going to add pretty soon. This card also has one of the easiest sign-up bonuses to hit. It's going to give you $200 when you spend $1,500 within 6 months. And we always love it when a card this good gives us some extra value and a sign-up bonus. Just keep in mind that this 5% back category is only going to be for the first $500 each month. But I'm not spending more than $500 on fast food and restaurants, and most likely you aren't either, and that's why I chose this card for this category. So by this point, we'll pretty much be earning 5% back on every single one of our categories. Just for a quick review, here's what we have so far. For utilities and ground transport, we have US Bank's Cash Plus card. For online shopping and travel, we have the Amazon Prime Visa. For grocery stores, we have AAA's Daily Advantage. And then for gas or EV charging, we have AAA's Travel Advantage. We have the Kroger MasterCard for our miscellaneous purchases and our retail store purchases. And then the City Custom Cash for our dining. Now let me give you 3 optional cards you can add that I think will really help supplement the setup if you want them. So the first card is the Discover It Cashback card. This was one of my first cards. This is a card that I've had for about 6 months now, and I've really enjoyed it. Now, the reason that this card is so special is that it has rotating 5% categories, but for the first year, you're going to get double. So that means for each one of these categories, you're going to get 10% off. And that's pretty much the best that you're ever going to see from any credit card. Usually the max that credit cards are going to give you is 5% back. So for the first year, this card's going to be really, really useful. 2 of my favorite things about this card is the cashback never expires, and they also have a pre-approval program, so you don't have to risk a hard pull. So the way the cashback's going to work is you'll get 5% cash back on everything that you're able to redeem immediately. And then at the end of the year, you're going to get all the cashback you earn matched. The max you can get is $75 each quarter, so that's $1,500 in each category. I'm not spending that much money on the categories. And so far, the categories have been dining for the first quarter. Right now, it's 5% back on all gas stations. And then next quarter is going to be 5% back on all grocery stores, and then Walmart too. And here's a trick if you're not spending that much on these categories like me. I can go into Walmart and then buy a prepaid Visa for $1,500 and then get that $75 cash back, as well as another $75 at the end of the year. And as long as I buy it at Walmart, I'm going to get that 10% back. Only do this trick if it makes sense for you and if you can immediately pay it off. Whenever I take advantage of this, I immediately pay it off right after, so I use it like a debit card. Getting that 10% back is never going to be worth it if you have to pay interest on the credit card. I'm not usually a fan of store credit cards, but there's 2 credit cards that I think might be worth adding to your wallet. The first is the Target Circle credit card. This is a card that's going to give you 5% back at Target or on Target.com. It'll also give you 5% back at Starbucks if you want to take advantage of that. And also, if you don't want to get the MasterCard credit card version of this, you can go with a debit card or a reloadable card. But if you do shop at Target a lot, which I know a lot of people watching this probably do, this might be a card that you want to consider. Now, the very, very last card on this list is the Capital One Walmart credit card. So this card's going to be a lot like the Target card, but instead of giving you 5% back at Target and Starbucks, this card's going to give you 5% back at, you guessed it, Walmart. If you're like a lot of other Americans, you buy a lot of stuff at Walmart to save money. And if you're saving money at Walmart, you might as well save another 5% by getting this credit card. It's also backed by Capital One, which is probably one of the best credit card issuers and banks in my opinion. So there's no worries there. It's not going to be one of the store cards backed by a sketchy bank. And of course, this is a 0 annual fee card with a pre-approval program. Now, if you're brand new to credit cards and you're watching this, I would start at the Cash Plus card because they have a secured version. So you can give them a security deposit and then start building credit and then move up on to all the other different cards. Let me know what changes that you would make to this 5% back category and if there's any cards that you would add or take away. And make sure you stay tuned because I'm going to be breaking down every single one of these cards individually. I'll see you guys next time.